Hal here with more space engineers. And if you were here with us on a Friday, you will notice something's missing. Basically, I decided I didn't like the design, so we're going to start over with it. As we have neighbors running down the hall. Alright, so this is probably going to be a longer than a normal video because we're going to do a whole lot of building, a whole lot of planning, and we may even do a little bit of a time lapse. I haven't decided yet. But before we get to all that, first we have to get started. So let's go. So happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully you had a fantastic week, or I should say a fantastic weekend. For those who were not over with us on Twitter or in the Discord on Saturday, well, you know, happy belated 4th and return of the 5th. Oh, alright. So, we have gotten everything in here welded up and airtight. This is the little habitation module that we were working on last time. So now that all of this is in, if you notice, we have O2 and temperature. Now we did do some work off camera, and I'm going to show you what we were working on there. So that's the habitation module completely welded up. Now in order to pipe this in, what we did is we actually did a air vent here, but we put a conveyor block next to it, because even though there's a little hole here, it's still airtight, which is fine by me. That then pipes into the conveyor block, which then pipes down and through. I ran this over into the existing framework that we had and just kind of ran it through there, just, you know, stopgap kind of thing. And I like the way it worked out, actually. I like having this whole thing somewhat submerged. And then I was doing some exploratory drilling, trying to figure out where things lined up. And what we found is that we were able to put in connectors over here. So now everything is piped in on both sides. Because I had a couple of people who were asking, I don't remember if it was in the comments of the last video or if it was direct messaging, but basically asking what I was going to do or how I was going to run things. So what we ended up doing is we just piped it in, and I didn't realize the drill system that we had set up, actually, which should be retracting now, I think. First one is mostly retracted, the second one is retracting. That's good. But yeah, so basically we ended up with a situation where when I was doing exploratory drilling, I should say, we ended up breaching into the mine area. So that was kind of a surprise. I didn't realize that the drills had gotten this far over. But yeah, so what we did is this is the little area over here next to the habitation module. And I basically just went through until I found where everything was, and then we piped it in as we needed to. So yeah, that's what we have been working on this side. That's pretty much all of the stuff I've been doing off camera. I really hadn't gotten too much more done. Believe it or not, that actually took a bit to get all of this welded in. We added a bunch of lights to it so the whole area is lit up. And as long as we keep our utility craft roughly this size, you know, we can obviously see there's a bit of room here. So we could actually make this a little bit bigger if we needed to, which we may end up doing. I may build or rebuild some new utility craft. One of the things that I've been talking about doing is upgrading the mining drill rig thing. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Don't know if I'm going to do that yet, actually. Alright, so that gets you up to date with what we've been doing. And now we need to get started on what we're going to do. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. There's one other thing that I changed. So remember we put the shield generator in? So we actually have the domed shield. Let me check my hydrogen. Oh, I'm out of hydrogen. That would be why I'm starting to get little flashing red lights. Okay, let's see what we're here really quick. I'm sitting there like, why is my hydrogen flashing? Probably because I am out of hydrogen. Alright, so let's go here. We're going to empty our inventory. We're just going to empty out of everything. I'm going to grab 500 of these and 200 of those, right? Yeah, so I put in this wonderful little beast. This is the shield air pressurizer. You don't see this used very often, or at least I don't. I haven't seen it used very often in public builds. So what this thing does is when it's piped in to your shield system, well, into your grid, it'll pull ice and it'll actually pressurize your shield. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you look down in the bottom center there, my O2 indicator says that there's no O2, and if I take the helmet off, there's no O2. But it is now temperature controlled. So there is a benefit to using it even though you don't get the O2 on a planetary station like this. And I'm thinking that if I use this on an asteroid where we actually had a complete 360 shield bubble, I'm betting this thing would actually hold O2. But because we don't, the terrain is effectively blocking the shield, so it doesn't seem like it will allow you to have O2. Now, I've not used this thing before, so I may be wrong. So if you do know, put it down in the comments so we can clarify the information. Now, one of the other things that I did over here is that this thing has upgrade modules. And right now, we're only using 2 of them. We're using a shield modulator, which does absolutely nothing for me except consume power. And we have a shield enhancer, which actually allows you to reinforce the shields. Now, let me get into the circuit here, or get into the grid, go to the control panel, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the enhancer. Helps if I spell it correctly. So if you notice, these will tell you that it's shield enhancer A and then there's a B. So when you place the first enhancer, what it will do is it gives you a fortress style. It turns your enhancer mode to fortress, but it gives you it adds max HP, and it allows you to repel grids. Now, when you go to the shield, the remaining shield enhancers, these also will add max hit points to your shield. So if you want to boost your shield for the sake of more power, you can do so. Because what happens is when you build your shield generator, the amount of shield points that are available are based on the amount of power that you allocate out of your grid. What the shield enhancers do is allow you to overcharge that. It increases the power draw of your shield when they're active. So what happens is if we go in here, let's look at our shield really quick. Station shield emitter. No, I actually want the controller table. Alright, so because I have one enhancer on, normally I've got this set to maximize our shield recharge rate. So normally what would happen is this particular shield would only be, I want to say like 110, 120, something like that, K. So I can have a ridiculously high shield recharge rate and be able to maintain a higher hit point by putting the enhancer on there. If I take the enhancer off, or I turn the enhancer off, the shield value drops. Like I said, I want to say like 120 to 120k from the 218 that it is right now. It might even be as high as like 150 or 160. I don't remember. But yeah, so that's a way to get a high recharge rate as well as maintaining a high shield value for, roughly keeping your power levels, balanced. Alright, so that's all said. Now, when we were talking on Friday, what I was talking about doing was having a deployable base that would have a lifter or some form of lifting mechanism. It could be that we build effectively the core of a ship with detachable lift pods or main thrusters or something like that. We could build a lifter ship, which would operate very much like the cargo lifter does, which would be just a larger framework that attaches to the ship attaches to the base in some way, lifts the entire base. You transport it to where you need, and for us, that's going to be the Earth-like planet. You detach it, and then the lifter goes and parks in orbit, or gets recycled, or something. You know, you do something where you consume the parts. Now, to answer the question that I don't remember if somebody asked this in the chat or if they asked it in the on the video. Could we do that with a ship like this? Yes, you could. What you could do is build the ship that you want into the shape that you want, or into the shape to get you started. You get there, you land it, you convert it to a station, you anchor it down, take the landing gear off, take the thrusters off and everything, and you have a system that is set up for it. Now, I do that sometimes. Like this ship that we're looking at right now, I actually had considered doing that with previously. For those who weren't here in the beginning of this series, one of the things that I had asked was, should I just go ahead and convert this over to a station and build a new ship? And everyone was like, no, repair it, repair it so you can use it, and we'll fly that around. So I'm basically going to do that. What I want to do is I want to have some kind of HAB, for those who aren't aware, a habitation module that I can use as a base. So that's kind of where this design came from. This was kind of a prototype to see just how small I could make a multiplayer habitation area. So we can actually make it pretty tiny. The question is how are we going to set up the styling on it? So what I'll probably end up doing is changing the way this thing is designed a little bit, because I like the overall feel of it, but I want something, I don't know, a little bit more stylish, I think is probably the term I'm looking for. Now, how does that play into this? Well, basically, that's what we're going to start doing. Now, we said before, I want at least 4 refineries on this thing. I want a habitation area where I can put in med bay of some kind, either the emergency survival, which is probably what we'll end up using, because they're cheap and they work. It's pretty straightforward. But we're also going to need to have cargo, and we're going to need refineries and assemblers. Now, one of the things that you will note is that if you are in arcade mode for audio, if you're set up and you've got, say, a bed or something here, and you have assemblers running, you can hear those damn things pretty much through the entire build, when you get close enough to them. Because this is going to be a fairly compact build, that means I want to try and isolate the things that are going to be constantly generating noise. Because I don't know about you, but I like to have the habitation areas be away from the noise generators. It's kind of nice to be able to relax, especially if you're just kind of hanging out in the game, not doing anything, waiting for resources to process, usual stuff, right? So I'm just kind of playing around with ideas right now. Alright, so if we're going to put habitation in, we need it to be at least 5 wide. And the reason I want it to be at least 5 wide is because then that gives me an interior space of 3 blocks, which means we can have a bed or a cryopod here on either side and still have room to walk around in there. Basically, like I said, like we did with that. You can go wider or even smaller if you really want to. Like if I was going to say this was going to be only for one person, you know, you could go 4 wide if you really wanted to. I wouldn't go much smaller than this, because when you get into 3 wide, you start running into space utilization error problems. I don't want to say errors. But I am one of those people who likes to have a little bit of room in the build, if for no other reason than just because you spend so much time, especially when you get to the point where you're doing refining and refining and assembly processes, because you're just kind of waiting for things to build. So even if you're out, you know, out and about, like if you want to walk away from the keyboard, or just if you're doing something where you're, say, doing RP, or even just with multiple people in the game, you kind of want to have a little bit of room to walk around so you're not walking on top of each other. So we're going to go. And the question is, do I want this to be something that doubles as a command center for a ship? Or is this going to be something that gets picked up and delivered somewhere? I kind of like the idea of it getting picked up and delivered somewhere. Actually, let me check something. How big is this? How much space do we have here? So that's 3, 4. What is that? So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. So that's 12, 13, 14. 14 by 3. So we could, I mean, effectively we could get away with half blocks on the outer wall, which would give us our by 5, but it would still end up being a fairly tight fit, because what we'd be talking about doing is having something like this. Oh, why am I on auto rotate again? So you would still be 3 blocks of space, like that. That might actually be doable. And we'd be able to use that lifter. The question is where are we going to put refineries and such? So if we do, get rid of these things really quick. So if we just do refineries like so. No. The problem we run into with that is going to be that it's going to turn into an issue. Hold on, let's see. Let me see something. Where's all of our contact points? So as long as it's below that center line, oh, that will actually work. It just has to be below that center line. That could be interesting then. Because if we do that, that's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we can actually take this out 1 more, 2 more. So we could have this come out as far as here, and be basically the same size as our cargo pod. This could be interesting. Alright, so where are you actually attached? You're attached there, so we don't want to take that block out right this second. Actually, it's merged. We can. Ahaha. Let's do this really quick. Since it's merged, doesn't matter if we take that block out, as long as we have it braced somewhere else. So if we go to so we want you to go that way. And let's spin you that way. And we do the same here. Alright, so what this will do is this allows us to pipe things in through here. This one gives us a connector on the top and bottom, which is connected through here. It's 1, 2, 3. So then we would take you. Awesome. And we do the same here with it going top or bottom, right? Okay, so that gives us one connector up, connects to both of these, one connector up, connects to both of these. Alright, kind of liking the way this is working here. And because that goes up, that will allow us to do other stuff. Alright, let me take a look at this so far. Okay. Like I said, as long as that stays... So as long as this block... Actually, no, because it doesn't really matter, because it'll hang down below the ship anyway, because the idea is that that ship's not going to really land with this thing. And it's just building a way for the ship. Alright, so if we take you out now, nothing's falling on top of me, right? Okay. So if we put a landing gear, because we'll be able to take this last block here out. Let's put that in there. I think it just gives us more options for getting connection points and stuff. And do we have... So you are the... you know what, I should probably spin that. Because this line is eventually going to come out. So what I'm thinking is, let's do... Let's rotate that. So we will spin that way. And that gives us our vertical here. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to make room for a landing gear to fit in here. And the landing gear is going to be 1, 2, 3. So we go like so. Let's flip you backwards. Come on. Why are you not rotating? Ah, there we go. Alright. So if we do that... Right, on... No, no, no. I have to move that back one. Because you are connected here. You are 1, 2, 3, 4. Shite. Actually, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine anyway. It just means we move it back one. Just fine. See, we can make this thing work, right? We want you there. See, I knew I had measured it properly. I just had to figure out where it actually needed to go. So what this allows me to do is that when we land on a planet, we can drop this thing down. The landing gear will engage on the planet's surface, and we have clearance to pipe things down and out from in the middle there. So if we wanted to, say, have another one of those mining rigs like we set up over there, we'd be able to pipe it in directly into the base. And then back here we have areas that we could put, say, a ground-based connector. So we'd have it come down, drop down from here. Here. Let's do it this way since we don't need these anymore. We'll go ahead and start swapping some things out. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if we go,
storm inbound,
say, have it drop down like this, or even drop down, 2 blocks, you could then put a connector on it here for small grid ground-based vehicles. So if you had some, oh, hello, holy crap. So, defense tower works. Holy crap. Alright, so yeah, but basically it gives you the ability to have something down here as a connector if you need it. Ah, crap, I'm out of hydrogen again. Let's jump over here really quick. That gets us a little bit of a charge back so we can come up here and refill our tank again. Alright. There we go. Okay, so that gets us the basic portion of the ship, well, the new base design. Like I said, we just need, I mean, we could even take this up another, well, we're gonna have to take it up another layer, which is fine because we're gonna have the yield modules on this. And those would be something like this. Oopsie. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, okay. I have to make sure. Alright, and then for the other ones, we're going to do speed. We want speed modules. And this is going to kind of defeat the purpose of having some of these in here, but that's okay. Not like we really have to have these. It really is more of a just nice to have kind of thing. Did you? There you go. Upgrades the output a little bit, which is another reason to have everything piped in where we can actually get to it. Now that we have that, I'm thinking we may actually do. Turn that off for a second. Okay, so that's an assembler, that's an assembler. That assembler is piped down. So if we go, let's just go with conveyors here. that really quickly so that we can do this. To pipe all of that together. Which is fine because this is going to have to be done like that anyway. Alright, so that gets us a spot where we have stuff coming in here. And if we go... try to figure out which side... I'm going to have to weld one of these up because I want to see which side has the cargo connector on it. I am horrible about remembering that. I think that should be the cargo connector. And then that'll be a cargo connector on this side, but we're not going to be able to use that one because it's going to be built into the wall, which is actually fine for now. So we're going to go... basically just trying to get an idea of how much room we're actually working with here. Alright, so you come out. You come out. You know what I could do? I could have a little bit of fun with this design. Let's take you out. Take you out. And we're going to go something like that. And on this side, we are going to just go ahead and put a conveyor block in. Figured might as well. Alright. Alright, so that gets us pretty damn close to what we need, actually. Alright, so we have that, we have that. So if we do this, we'll go ahead and round this off a little bit. So that ends up giving us quite a bit of room. That's not bad. I'm kind of liking this. And what we end up with here is we're going to need a way to get into the ship. And that's what I'm working on, trying to figure out right this second. So if we do it, let's talk about doing it the easy way. If we do conveyor block here, actually, doesn't matter. We can put an air vent on this side. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the landing gear off of here. We'll put a locker block in here. I mean, I guess technically we could even do this. An arm wall. What did that? Switch you. Do we want to do that? No. Actually, you're convertible, right? Yeah. Now, I don't think we can actually pipe this in. But with this in place, this leaves the O2 actually open to be able to see it. So it makes a little bit more logical sense. Kind of liking the way this is working out here. It's actually going to be a nice, very compact build, it looks like. So what we may do then is we go... let's drop our survival kit in. Is that... yeah, so that would drop there. We have our block here. Okay, so that gets us some stuff. And I guess what we could do is then have the entrance be up here somewhere. Alright, because that's going to be at ground level right there. That, up to that block, right? Once it lands, we convert it to station. Once we convert it to station, we can build some areas off of it. If we do just one airlock module, do we just want to do an airlock? Because if we do just an airlock block, we could get away with putting that right there. Once we get to a planet, we could just do something like this. I'd really like to have an invert of that. I guess I could just get away with something like this. And so yeah, basically this is what we'd be looking at once we got to a planet. We would do something like this. So once it's down, even if you don't convert it to a station, you have the ability to come up here, you come through the door, and you're inside the habitation area. You have basically a med station and respawn area right here. Got small onboard storage for just basic stuff. Basically we'll have like some extra oxygen tanks or hydrogen tanks. Maybe some weapons and stuff, you know, basically just basic kit stuff. It's nothing overly complex. We will probably do beds here. That's a little too close. Let's go, I don't know. What do we think? One bed, two beds? Kind of tempted to put one over here, but I want an area that we're going to have the ability to have like a small kitchen and a bathroom area. Alright, so I'm thinking, I guess we could just do one. Do two, maybe? I kind of want to have some space between those. Maybe we can put the armory over there. We'll put a bed here. I guess we could put the... I guess that actually works, right? Yeah, you can get in here. What I'm curious about is when this is welded up, are you going to be able to get in and out of the bed without getting ejected outside of the structure? Worst case, we move it up one and we put a locker back there. Alright. Okay, so that gets us... Tell you what, man, I think if I was going to be here, I'd want to be in this bunk. Because if you're laying in this bunk, you've got the O2 pumping right in here. You're going to sleep well. Alright. Okay, so we'll leave that like it is for right now. Okay. Kind of liking the way this is actually coming together. So now we're going to take this out. I'd really like to be able to just use ladders on here. I think that would be bloody amazing. Oh, you know what I could do? I could put a half block here and then put ladders on the side. Oh, that could work really well. So what I'm thinking, see? So what I'm talking about is going like this. Can I can. Look at that. Oh, that's even better. That, yeah, I like that even better. Because when it's down, just to show you here, when it's actually landed, you're going to be 1, 2, you'll be standing about this level, so you'll actually be able to come out and place the components in order to get things done without having to use your jetpack at all. How's that? That is going to be awesome. Okay. We've got plenty of fuel still. Let's not accidentally grind something and bring the whole thing down on us. Okay, so that gets the basics done. I think what we're going to do is what I may do is everything for the front half will just weld up the things that we need to get in place, like the you know, like the connectors and or the conveyor junctions and that kind of stuff. Basically get everything up to this point welded up so that we have everything back here dealt with. Let's go this way so we're not and then we will see where that leaves us.
Energy low.
We will take that off right now. I'm probably going to put that back on, and I may actually leave that connector there and then do another connector straight off the back here, so that we can attach the small mining craft to the back of this thing. Yeah, which means we'll build like a little hangar area, and maybe once it's down, we have walkways going down this way into. Oh, I'm really liking the way this is coming together, because once this is deployed, we're going to be able to build off of this really easily. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead, cut here. Going to thank you for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, new to the channel, or just want to do something nice for YouTuber, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to be kept up to date with what's going on around here, be sure to ring the bell as well. Yeah, I think this is going to be, once we get this thing welded up and get it staged the way it needs to be staged, I think this is going to be really good. I'm kind of liking the way this is all coming together right now. The nice thing is that once we get a little bit further along, we'll be able to put in our, because we still have to put cargo in too. I guess we could put a small cargo container in right here. Or even 2 small cargo containers. Oh, that's something we'll have to think about. Because I don't have any big cargo containers right now. Of course, I don't really need one right now. Yeah, that's stuff we'll figure out later. Alright, so I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you back here next time with most of this thing welded up at that point, hopefully. Anyway, as always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Yeah, I think we may need to rework some of the front end if I'm going to put a large cargo in, but this should work really well.